So Graham T99 asks on YouTube, basically how much money would you guys recommend for a 3-month trip in New Zealand on a budget, and would buying a car be a bad idea? And now I'm going to couple that with another question that we had on Facebook, which is from Maurice Fink, which says that we have a very helpful webpage. Thank you, BackpackerGuide.NZ. I have a question. Would you guys advise renting or buying a campervan when traveling for 55 days from Auckland to Christchurch? Kind regards, that was polite. All right, so let's start with that. Buying a car in New Zealand or renting one. Let's just have a look at the pros and cons of buying a car, and then we'll talk budget for a trip. Now, 55 days. That's about 2 months, and Graham is asking about 3 months. Now, it's about the length where we kind of consider the cutoff of buying or renting, right? It's literally the part where it's kind of like it's kind of 50-50 should you buy or rent. To me, the first thing I want to point out before we're talking about the pros and the cons is the time that you have, right? Renting a car is a breeze. You do most of it when you're back home. You do all the paperwork, you do all that, you pay for that, you're all sorted with it. You just come here and it literally takes you about 30 minutes and you're on the road. You go to the car place, you pick it up and you sort it, right? Now, buying a car is a long process. You need to look at a lot of cars. You need to get a mechanical check. You need to just even agreeing to meet a seller. It's always going to be, I can do tomorrow. Can we do the day after? It's such a pain. So you have to know that you would wait, in my opinion, and from my experience, you would waste at least a week before you get actually starting traveling, and probably a week and a half to 2 weeks for selling the car if you are willing to cut the price down. If you want to recover fully your money and you're really on a very tight budget, you're going to need longer. So we're talking between 2.5 to 3 weeks of your trip already gone. So for 55 days, if that was my choice, I wouldn't do it. No. For 3 months, depending on my budget, I value my time a little bit more. So I don't know if I would really do that. I would more try to find some travel buddies, and Graham, if I'm not wrong, I think you say you're traveling with some friends. So if you're traveling at 3 people, suck it up and do the car rental. Because dividing the price of the car rental by 3 is very good. And also it will also very much depends on your travel season. If you're traveling in the off or shoulder season, there's going to be no one to buy your car at the end of your trip, so that's going to be a huge pain to do that. Plus the car rentals are going to be, the car and campervan rentals are going to be rather cheap because you're there. If you are traveling in a high season, well, you may have someone and be able to buy your car rather easily, and the price of car and campervan rental is going to be quite high. So, it's a bit in between. So I'm giving you the pros and cons right here. Now you want to go for like the pros and the notes. Right now, I was just we did prepare the question. No?
So the good thing about renting any type of vehicle, whether it's camper van or just a car, is that it's a little bit more worry-free. It's a bit more stress-free, and that's because obviously you don't have to worry about fixing the car if there's anything that goes wrong with it. It's usually well maintained because it is a rental vehicle, and obviously the rental company does have an interest in maintaining their vehicle. So you're kind of going to have a more smoother experience and less of that risk of breaking down if you do go with a rental company. But on the flip side of that, on the other side of that, if you're buying a car, it's kind of, you really need to assess whether the car is actually of good quality or not, and you need to have probably a lot of knowledge yourself when you're looking at cars and understanding what to look for to make sure you're not basically buying a lemon, as they say over here. So that's one thing.
But the good thing is that, like some people, if you're like 18 years old, it's a bit hard to rent a car. So it's a pretty good one. While But I just want to point out that there is quite a lot of car rental companies that do rent to people under 25 years old, and actually even some people under 21.
Yeah.
I think, do we have an article on BackpackerGuide.NZ?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So after in this rebroadcast, we'll link to an article about the age restrictions that you're likely to find when renting cars or camper vans in New Zealand, and we do a quick list of car rental companies which will rent to the younger age group.
And actually some of the really good ones rent to...
so there's Juicy, Spaceships, like basically all the backpackery type of camper van rental companies do all rent to 18-year-olds.
Juicy have some amazing campers, and you can rent. I think you can rent at 18 years old in Juicy, right?
Yeah.
So you can rent at 18 years old and with Juicy, for instance. So the restriction is not as crazy as it is in other countries. Like I know that it's a flat. Like I think in the US it's like a flat. You may have like one company that. You'll
actually be quite surprised at how many car rental companies do rent to 18-year-olds.
I think it would be more the exception. The exception that you wouldn't be.
It's only if you're renting a large motorhome, like one of those huge camper vans, that is where you're going to be pretty much guaranteed that you have to be 25 or over to drive those vehicles, because they are larger. You tend to need to have more driving experience for those vehicles anyway. But for the smaller camper vans, for the small like little compact ones, or the high top vans, or the camper cars, then if you're under 25, it'll probably be very easy for you to buy or to rent a car.
So pros and cons. And buying obviously it's cheaper because you'll be able to recoup quite a lot of your money. Let's say you buy a car or camper van for about $5,000, you probably will be able to sell it for like 4 or 4.5 and move on rather quickly. So that definitely reduces the cost. But as I say, it does very much hinder your time in New Zealand, especially for just 55 days. So Maurice, 55 days, I think I will rent. I personally think I will rent.
There is I was just going to say another option. There is another option, is that some rental companies have buyback schemes. So you're essentially, it is kind of like a long-term rental with some camper van companies, where they basically sell you the car and then you sell it back to them right at the end of your trip. So that is another way to go about it, and how to get like basically a long-term rental, because it still has the benefits of being sort of a well-maintained car, and you will have the backup of like that rental company, but you've already organized to sell it back to them at the end of your trip, so you don't have to worry about spending a lot of time trying to sell your camper van back at the end. So that's another option.
And you're like, and again, one more thing about the young age. A lot of people just forget that you don't have to look at the big one, and the age also in the companies, which are the exception, which are giving an age restriction. The smaller the camper van and the smaller the car, the lower the age restriction. So don't go with this one, just go with something slightly smaller and you can go for it. Also, you save a lot of money on the rental. All right. Now, so again, getting back to buying car, though, you have the risk of buying a crap car, and that's always like, that's the thing, you can take. There is a lot of really bad cars in New Zealand. It's a nation which is known for that. So if you buy a car and then turn out to be crap after a month, this will ruin your 3 months trip completely. It will ruin your budget, it will ruin your timing, it will ruin your whole itinerary. And so that's a bit of a risk as well. So it's really up to you. There's pros and cons for everything. I don't want to finish on the bad note. Honestly, we did buy a camper van. You saw the videos of New Zealand's biggest gap here. We actually broke down twice, had major issues, but we figured it out, and we came out of those issues like better and bigger than ever. Which was quite cool. All right. Cool. So I hope that, Graham, that's answered your question. And Maurice as well on Facebook, thank you very much for emailing me. We made this video right for you, so I'll send you the link on Facebook. You rock. Now, quickly to touch up a little bit on the budget that Graham was asking. We're not going to dwell too much about that because I'm pretty sure these questions will come up in a bit more of a lengthier explanation. But budget-wise, we usually think that between 2,000 and 2,500 New Zealand dollars per month is usually kind of correct to be able to travel around. So if you're coming here for 3 months, between 6 and 7.5 will be a decent amount of money to plan for. So that's usually what we are thinking.